There's I got the Little Mermaid cup today.
Nice.
So that's gonna be a good day for me. It's 4:30 in the morning, Sunday morning right now.
Yeah. I like Mama Bear cup, but
Mama Bear cup's pretty tight. So put that some name recognition, name dropping. There's this common thought that it takes tragedy to make significant change in your life. Like having to lose a loved one, get a DUI, maybe get a divorce, maybe a death, and somebody dies for DUI or something like that. There's this idea out there that it takes tragedy to make a significant change in your life, and it's unfortunate because there's a lot of people that'll get into that situation where they're drinking every single day. It'll go in waves where sometimes it'll just be like totally acceptable. And honestly, when you have a lot of friends around you that drink every day too, it makes it way more socially acceptable, easier to accept the fact that you're a fucking raging alcoholic. And it makes it harder for you to get to the point where you can even admit that you have a problem. As far as the tragedy thing goes, I have a friend of mine, Johnny, his wife's best friend was hit by a drunk driver, and that's when he stopped drinking. So that was a tragedy that it like shook his wife up so bad because they were so close. Like she was literally devastated for like a year and a half. Like it was really hard for her to come out of that, and he saw that, and that's what made him quit. What I'm here to say is, if you have a situation where you're letting your health slide to a certain point, where you're thinking that maybe one day that you go into the doctor's office and you have excessively high liver enzyme levels, maybe pushing towards there's a non-fatty non-fatty liver disease, and there's non-alcohol fatty liver disease, and then there's alcohol fatty liver disease. Both of which are just as common as the other. Actually, the non-alcohol one is all from sugar, excessive sugar intake. Look it up. It's really interesting how bad you're fucking yourself by eating all those fucking donuts and stuff like that you're eating. I cussed twice. I'm gonna do that. But does it have to take a situation where you go in and you have to have surgery, or you're killing your liver, or you're killing your body, or somebody in your family dies, or from either alcoholism, drug use, or just super extreme health issues because of bad choices? And what I'm saying is, I used to think for a while when I was drinking, and I was drinking for last 4 years, every single day I'd go in my waves where I think, yeah, dude, I'm totally with this, dude. I can function. I'm cool as hell, and my friends all drink too, so it must be completely fine. And then I would go into stages where I'm like, dude, like something's gonna happen. Like I'm gonna get in a wreck on the way somewhere while I'm drinking. I'm gonna wind up killing somebody. I'm gonna kill myself, or one of my kids are gonna die in the car while I'm driving. And you just keep going through those total acceptance to total, man, I'm screwing everybody around me type of thing. What I'm saying is it doesn't have to take tragedy to make significant change. This is kind of where the whole thing of the mechanism comes into play. Is, let's say, for example, you're a wealthy person and you drink a lot, you drink excessively, you're an alcoholic, you're a total alcoholic, but you won't admit it, whatever, it doesn't even matter whether you do or you don't. You drive drunk, you get your kids in the car, you drive drunk with your kids in the car, and whatever the case is, whatever extreme or non-extreme with that whole situation. Let's say that for you to quit drinking, let's say you just put a bet into place, say like $50,000 bet that holds you to it, super solid, and you can't drink for a year. What do you think are the chances of you not drinking for the year?
Good.
Let's say you're not wealthy. Let's say $50,000 isn't the high paying threshold. Let's say you make $2,000 a month. What if you were to put up at stake $2,000, a month's income, to not drink for a year, and you're being held to it, do you think you would not drink?
Positive.
Well, okay, let's see. To me, I did what, the $6,000 at an F-150.
Yes.
That's what it took, and it was just like maybe I could have done it a lot less than that. I don't think I could have done it with $1,000.
No, you told me directly that you couldn't do it with $1,000.
Yeah, I would just go like fuck it one day and just give you $1,000 and move on.
You said you could afford to lose $1,000.
And keep in mind here, I have 7 individual people holding me accountable on this one. This has 7 individual deals. Now, that one was directly to another person. So I had a bet with you, Carlos, Derek, Matt, the whatever the list is, Julian. Anyways, you can still set up the same thing and do it for the charity, because that's really the way to go. It's not so much the other person having interest in you losing. There should never be that interest in you losing. But you could set it up with 6 individual people that, hey, if I fail at this, you're watching me. That $1,000 or that $5,000 or that $50,000 goes to St. Jude. I use St. Jude all the time. It's I think they're awesome. Hopefully, I never have to use their services. But they do fantastic things. Anyways, when you start looking at it from that perspective, it doesn't take tragedy to change. The other crazy thing is if you think about it, a lot of us have goals to be wealthy. Some of us just have goals to be comfortable. It is what it is. But I think the vast majority of the people that play the lottery do so because they want to be millionaires.
Absolutely.
So far out of reach. This is such a goal that's so far out of reach for most people. They just leave it out there in the ether and just hope and pray for it one day. It's not going to happen like that unless you win the lottery, and then, like we already talked about this before, you'll probably go broke because you have no money management skills. The thing about it is, what if you had 2 years from today to create a net worth of $1 million, and you had 2 vehicles to monetize? When I say vehicles, I mean 2 businesses, 2 incomes that you can create to create this type of wealth. You just have to do the work. You know that this money can be made with a real estate vehicle. You know it because you're looking at everybody else around you and they're freaking all millionaires or pretty close to it. You know you have the vehicle, you just don't have the diligence, you don't have the tenacity to go in and figure out how to put all the pieces together to get to that $1 million level in 2 years. What if you were to have, say, a $10,000 lever against you, where if you're not a millionaire in 2 years, you lose $10,000? Maybe we need to ratchet up. Maybe we need to make it like that Ford F-250 lifted dollar value. You know, maybe we're in that $50,000 to $80,000 level. What if
You got a pretty nice Chevy out there.
Yeah. What if you were to wager $50,000 against yourself that today that you were going to have a net worth? That means no debt minus income, and there's no projections on whatever the valuation of your business is. You just have a flat out net worth of assets and or cash of $1 million in 2 years. And you're risking $50,000 against your ability to do it. Do you think your frame of mind that very first day is going to change from the way your frame of mind is today? Do you think that you are going to drive at that freaking frothing at the mouth, doing everything you possibly can to put all the pieces together in that vehicle to make it efficient enough to make you a net worth of $1 million in 2 years? What I'm talking about here is changing your entire perspective on how things work. The crazy thing is, you don't have to experience tragedy to become that person that can become a millionaire. You don't have to experience tragedy to quit drinking. You don't have to experience tragedy to stop doing cocaine. You don't have to experience tragedy to make whatever massive life-changing decisions you need to make, like quitting smoking. Like, I know people that just got like 3 stents in their heart and are looking for every reason to be able to continue smoking when the doctor's telling them they can't smoke. You know what I mean? Still with the terrible diet, still with the alcohol, still with the smoking. And for that person, could look at it like maybe somebody that they know dies for the same reason, and it shocks them into realization that, hey, I need to get my stuff straight. I need to stop drinking. I need to stop eating terribly, and I need to stop smoking before I'm the next one, and my death does this to all the people around me. What if instead there was a $5,000 wager on you quitting smoking? You lose $5,000 off of a credit card that you can't afford to lose if you don't quit smoking. Say even like the smoking one's the easy one. Like, you can go like a 3-month period and go, I'm allowed to have 3 cigarettes in this 3-month period, 3 cheats in the 3-month period. And then you get to the end of the 3-month period and you go, hey, this is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Let me go another 6 months. Or heck, let me put one on it for a full year. And let me say real quick, and then the hardest mechanism that I have in place right now, out of 7 mechanisms that I have in place, from not drinking to being in the gym, no sugar, no processed fast food, developing abs, writing a book, publishing a book, marketing a book, out of all those that I have in place right now, the hardest one that I have is eating out no more than 2 times a week. I've used every single one of my cheats to this day, and it still goes till August 15th. I have another 16, 17 days or something like that. That's the hardest one that I have. Like, the crazy ones aren't the hard ones.
So, when you were drinking, were you at that point where you thought you needed a tragedy to quit?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would, like I said, I would go through the cycles where I would think everything's okay, mm-hmm. not a big deal, till like, holy crap, I'm a screwed up POS, and it's going to take something significant to happen before I can knock myself out of this perspective.
Okay. That's interesting. I actually didn't know that you were at that point, but the crazy thing is that I've always looked at it and thought, like, a tragedy happens, or even something good happens, like the birth of a child. Let's just use the birth of a child as an example. Sometimes those extreme events, good and bad, those aren't even enough to get you to quit what you're doing. I've watched it. I've seen it happen. Now, there are some people, like my dad, when my daughter, or when my sister was born, just poured all the alcohol down the drain. Some people do that. That's great. But I've watched it happen where a tragedy doesn't change someone, or the birth of a child doesn't change someone, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, this isn't enough for you? You know? But then I watch you where you're at that point where you think something horrible has to happen in your life to get you to stop doing something that you want to stop doing. And then you call me up one day, I'm driving home. I remember it clear. I was going down the 10 on the way to the 303. You're like, hey dude, $1,000, no drinking for a year. At that point, I had already done it before without $1,000 online. I was like, cool, whatever, if that's what you need. And you told me, well, I got an F-150 online, I got this online, because I don't think $1,000 is enough, you know? And you're all stoked, you're excited, and in my head I was like, I'm gonna win $1,000, you know? Because I've seen it happen. Like, I've seen people try to quit this, quit that, and everything. But this just like changed you from like, we set a date where I think it was you guys all quit January 2nd?
Yeah.
So you left the 1st.
We did January 2nd because we didn't want it to be confused with the New Year's resolution.
Yeah, very good. From January 3rd to this point, it's been completely different. And in a really good way.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
dude, my life is completely changed. Like, I have so much freaking, even in my stagnant days where I don't get anything, because I'm not even employed anymore. Like think about that. I went from my job as a field operations manager, where I'm the boss of every single foreman in the company. I hire and fire every single person in the company. And the previous company that I worked for, I literally developed and had a large play in all the decision making from the field aspect of a company that had 100 employees. Just imagine how much money I made. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say exactly. I've literally quit that job.
yeah.
I've replaced the income in 6 months' time, just from deciding to quit drinking to now I need something else. But here's the kicker, though. Here's the crazy part. Other people that decide to quit drinking and quit drinking there's one thing that they don't have that I have, and that's the mechanism. I'm not sitting here trying to like. My passion behind the mechanism has nothing to do with me trying to sell books, trying to sell anything. My passion behind the mechanism is once people do this, it makes everything seem so easy. The craziest shit that you could possibly want to do, you're like, why the heck was I scared of that for the last 8 years? Why did I try that year after year after year after year and fail over and over and over again? And then all of a sudden I put a $500 mechanism in place or a $1,000 mechanism in place, and it became automatic.
Yeah.
Like, you literally think about it on a day-to-day basis. The decision to go, well, I'm not going to go to the gym today, like that doesn't even go in. It's not even in your head. It's out of your head. Like, I don't even know how to impress this on people, because the thing about it is it doesn't require a life-changing event. It doesn't require anything. When it came down to the alcohol, me quitting drinking, this was a heavy one in my mind. It was a super heavy one, and it turns out that it wasn't even remotely close to as big of a deal as I thought. The eating out more than 2 times a week is a harder one to achieve than not drinking. If you have something like the drinking, or you have something like the smoking, or you have something like the dozen Krispy Kremes that you got to eat every day, if you have one of those things that you don't think that you can quit, that's when you bring multiple people in on the mechanism. Yeah. And what we're calling them gears: group effort, accountability, resource. And that'll all come into play later. Anyways, but if you have just one person in your life looking at you as your accountability person, like most of the stuff that we do is just me and Zach. I could bring other people in. The 1 year club has like 11 people in it. But the thing about it is like, if you're looking at it, so you already know that you're going to be that if you drink, this guy could see you, this guy could see you, this guy could see you, this guy could see you. You could get 5 different $1,000 mechanisms out, or you could just do $1,000 and have 5 different people that are holding you accountable. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be $5,000. It's your pain threshold. Depends on how much money you make, and whether you can sneeze off $100 or you can sneeze off $1,000 without even worrying about it. That's not enough money. It has to be something that really hits you. And honestly, so I just sold the F-150 yesterday. I sold it for $5,000. So ultimately, the one for me to stop drinking, and I still have to carry out the rest of the year, or Julian gets that $5,000. And I already told him I was selling the F-150. but he'll get the $5,000, whatever. That's what I sold it for. But I ultimately have $11,000 keeping me from drinking in 2019. And let me tell you, right now we're approaching August. We're like right at the beginning of August. That's on Thursday, is August 1st. This year I've drank one time. I don't even care about drinking. My wife and I went and ate sushi last night. She drank 2 drinks, really fantastic looking drinks. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Like I literally, like for a little while I had anxiety about going around people while they were drinking. I don't care. Like I'm around people, any type of event that I go, any dinner, date that me and Gina do at any point in time, she's never been at the level that I was at drinking. She'll drink 1 or 2 drinks and that's all she needs, and she's done. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't drink 20, like literally I could start drinking 1 beer and I'm 24 pack and a bunch of shots later, you know, like the ultimate thing is like it doesn't take tragedy. You don't have to immobilize your body, have a stroke, have a heart attack to change your diet, change your smoking habits, change anything. You can use the mechanism to change that behavior. And then the crazy thing about it is like, so let's say we're not even talking about not drinking. Let's say wealth building. Let's say you want to get out of debt. What's the threshold for you on getting out of debt? Say $10,000. You're going to wager $10,000 against yourself. It'll go to St. Jude, St. Mary, whatever, whoever you want to send it to. If you're not completely out, you have to make it viable though. You have to look at it before you start to look at the actual viability of your time frame. And maybe that's a 2-year time frame. So what if you're going to lose $10,000 at the end of a 2-year time frame if you're not out of debt? Say you have $40,000 worth of debt in a 2-year time frame. Do you think you're going to get out of debt? I would say yes. I would say it almost becomes automatic. Like you don't, your choice isn't, it's taken away from you. So instead of going and spending that money on going out and doing all this, you automatically continuously move that 10% over. Maybe you move that 10% over into an investment account at 10% or whatever, and all your debt's sitting at like 4% or 5%, and you can take that and compound it at the end. There's so many different ways you could do it. You talk to Levi, dude. He thinks that you need to have debt. I don't know that I agree, but I'm just rambling now. This coffee's good. You get Little Mermaid cup's killing it.
What I was trying to hit on earlier though was you're completely different now in a good way. But I think a lot of people are sitting where you were.
A lot of people are.
And
I'm looking at several people right now that are like that.
In my mind, like, do you really want to wait for a tragedy to happen? Is that what you want to do? You were there. That's what you were waiting for. You're waiting for something bad to happen. Who wants that? Why wait? Why wait for something bad to happen? Or even good to happen to get you to make that change? Why don't become good before that good? Maybe that good thing doesn't happen if you don't change. I've seen a lot of good things happen for you this year. Just why wait?
Exactly. Dude, my biggest regret is like I didn't know about this 20 years ago. You know? 10 years ago. The amount of momentum it creates is insane.
That's what we want. We want a network of success. We want a network of good things happening to good people. You know, that's what I mean, we have a mission statement. We're probably going to change it and work it around, but that's essentially, in a short way of saying it, that's what we want. We want good things to happen to good people. Instead of sitting there waiting for something bad to happen, we want you to change so something good can happen for you.
And the interesting thing too is I was running some commercials on the book, and there were some people, it's interesting that they were all Christians, that they came in and said that you don't need the book, you don't need this and that, all you need to do is pray. And that makes me think of a saying that I actually posted just the other day on Facebook is, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. No results without action. You have to put stuff in action. You can pray. There's nothing wrong with praying. Everybody has a different version of it. Some people just call it meditation. Some people call it prayer. Some people call it talking to the universe. Some people call it social or the infinite network. There's all kinds of different variables that are all saying the same thing. Anyways, in my opinion, if you don't put action into place, you're not going to get the results that you want. If you do, it's just sheerly by luck, and you're not going to value it once it's there. And I don't know, man. I'm actually insanely excited. I've done a lot of things in my life that just didn't catch traction, and it's like, is this really what I want to do? Is this really, you know what I mean? Like just things like that. And the mechanism itself, I would argue, the entire thing was created by something outside of myself. It was one of those things where, let's call it God, universe, whatever we want to call it, it doesn't really matter. Me and Julian were hanging out, and like it was just like all of a sudden, boom, it was like, that's it. Let's do this, Julian. I bet you my truck against your Suburban. Actually, I was trying to get my truck against his Corvette. He has a pretty sweet Corvette that his dad gave him, but he won't give the Corvette up. But I mean, older vehicles. It's not like it's in tight primo condition. But that was the start of this whole entire thing. What I want to see happen is people get to the point where there's like testimonials coming from all over the planet going, oh my gosh, the amount of momentum that I have right now is insane. You go listen to Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is fantastic. I've seen him live, fantastic. Oh my gosh, it was whatever you think a Tony Robbins event would be. It's nothing even close to that. It's 10 times better than what you think it would be. 10 times better. And after the Tony Robbins event, obviously there's points from the event that'll stay in you. But like you're jacked, you're at like a level of 100 when you walk out of the event. Just the next morning when you wake up, you're now at about an 8. And then that just continues to dwindle off. Because the reality sets into your head that like, well, Tony Robbins is like a multi-millionaire, if not a billionaire. I have no idea. He owns like $50 million multi-million dollar companies. How am I comparing to Tony Robbins? You know what I mean? Like all these little conversations start happening in your head. I can't get to that level. I can't. He's talking about all this stuff. That sounds fantastic, but I've never even been able to break past $50,000 a year. You know, just whatever your thing. I could barely even keep the rent paid. You know, whatever you're doing to talk yourself out of it. What I'm saying is, you put a mechanism in place, and the motivation from that motivational speech that you heard is completely irrelevant. It's great. It's fuel for you. But you now have a day-to-day driven tenacity that doesn't die, regardless what you talk yourself into or out of. Right now, the people that aren't putting mechanisms in place, that know that they have something that they want to change about their lives, are just scared of putting a mechanism in place because they think they're going to fail. Yeah. What you got to understand, though, is that's the way every single mechanism is. For me, anyways. I don't know how other people are. Obviously, you had a different perspective on the drinking one. You have this massive amount of fear, but once that mechanism starts, it's freaking, it's the rubber's meeting the road, and you're making stuff happen. It's phenomenal how it works. It's insane how it works. I'm not trying to just sell books here. Actually, the book is just a tool to fulfill the mission statement. The mission statement is, our mission is to improve the lives of countless people by helping them move from thought to action in as little time as possible. That's the mission. Whatever you're thinking you want to do, let's get you into action fast. You want to quit drinking, quit smoking, stop eating 50 Krispy Kremes. Maybe you want to make 6 figures. Maybe you want to be a millionaire. Maybe you want to be out of debt. Maybe you want to be healthy. Maybe you want to make more time for your family. Maybe
It's endless.
It's endless. It's endless. There's nothing that it doesn't cover. So if you're sitting out there right now going like, this mechanism thing seems kind of lame, you're lame. You don't even have the diligence to put something in place that'll make you succeed. And it's not even like it sounds too good to be true. Like you could literally just piece this together in your head. Okay, so I'm not going to smoke for the next 3 months, or I lose $5,000. Yeah, if I was going to lose $5,000, I would definitely not smoke. And the crazy thing about it is too, is I think the loss of the $5,000 is weighs heavier than the gain of $5,000. So like say if somebody said, hey, I'll give you $5,000 if you don't smoke for 3 months, you could take that or leave it. At any point in time, you can let that voice intrude in your head and go, nah, just smoke the cigarette, screw it, dude. You don't really need that $5,000 anyways. Whereas if you can't afford to lose the $5,000 and you have something against you where if you do smoke, now you're in a deficit, it's heavier. That consequence is heavier than just somebody giving you money like a bonus.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple.
If one of the things that I'm running across, which is weird, is I'll talk to people and I'll be like, what is something that you want to do that you're not doing? Something that maybe you've tried to do over and over again, but you failed and you went to the point where you just gave up. I'm going to sneeze. This is embarrassing. Anyways, people are reluctant to even say that out loud. It's fine. You don't have to say it out loud to me. It's not for me. I think people are even at the point where they're in denial about the fact that they can't succeed at certain things, where they actually have been beaten up so long in their lives that they actually believe they can't lose that weight, that they actually believe that they can't quit smoking because they've tried it so many times and they failed. So that's just it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. This is God's plan for me. You literally pull the notes app up on your phone, and as you go through the day, something that you want to do, because it's not going to come right to your head, something that you want to do, or think of something that you failed at, and just put it in your phone.
I think it's in their head. I think everyone
I think a lot of it's a forefront, yeah.
Everyone has something right away that they want, or they want to do, or they want to accomplish, that they're maybe putting a little bit of effort in,
but never enough.
Never enough. Not the amount of effort that they want to put in. There's always something else. There's always this. There's always that. Maybe you need to get rid of this or that to put in that effort. For you had to get rid of drinking before the gym.
Right. Well, you have to get rid of toxic behaviors first.
Actually, it was kind of the opposite. You got rid of the toxic behavior, and you're like, I need something positive to fill this time that I was spending drinking. Now you're going to the gym every day.
Yeah, a lot. Thinking about getting a job there. Keep in mind, folks, is you don't lose anything. All you do is gain an achievement. Gain something that you never thought you could achieve. Right now I have 7 mechanisms in place. I have 4 of them that are complete. I'm not even on the verge, other than the eating out twice a week. I'm like, it's funny because yesterday, me and my wife don't have kids this weekend, so I took the kids out after we did the meet the teacher on Thursday or something like that. Bought them some hamburgers, so that was 1. Yesterday we went and ate sushi. That's 2. I don't have any more this week. Unless I want to call it, I could cheese this a little bit and call it Sundays about the first of the week, because I never actually determined what the first of the week was in this one. And these are parameters that you would set yourself anyways. But I could do that. But then ultimately, what do? Now I've got Sunday to Saturday. You know what I mean? That I can only, and ultimately that's kind of the way it should be.